Yo, hey guys, what's pooping? Chess Noob here. In today's video, we're going to be going over on how to play the fried liver and how to defend against it. The fried liver is played from white's point of perspective, and it starts off with the moves e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop c4. So these beginning moves are very common. White plays e4 to gain control of the center, and black does the same by playing e5. Next, white plays knight to f3, attacking the e5 square. As we'll see, white plays knight to f3, attacking the e5 square. In response to that, black will play knight c6 to defend the e5 pawn. White will play bishop c4, attacking the f7 square, which we'll see later is a very important part in the fried liver. Black will play knight to f6, attacking the pawn on e4. Instead of playing knight to c3, white is going to play a different move. White's going to play knight to g5. Now, it does protect the e4 pawn, but it also poses an even greater threat. Now, there are two pieces that are attacking the f7 square, and there's only one piece defending it, the king. So, say that black plays a move like h6. Right now, white has a very good move, and that is knight takes on f7. The queen and the rook are under attack, and so right now, the queen is more valuable in the game than the rook is. So, black will play queen to e7, protecting it. But right now, black gives up the rook on h8. So now after white takes the rook on h8, which is the recommended move, now white not only gains 5 extra points, but as you can see, there's an escape square for white to go to, and that's knight to g6. Say that black plays an ignorant move like a6. Now white can play knight to g6, and he's free and not under black's territory anymore. So backing up a few moves, we realize that this threat is very dangerous. And now we're going to go over how, since we went over how to play the opening, we're going to go over how to defend it from black's point of view. Alright, so like I said, white will play e4, black will play e5, trying to get a good control of the center. And then white will play knight f3, attacking the pawn on e5. And in response to that, black will play knight to c6 in hopes of defending e5, which black does. So now white will play bishop c4, attacking and adding pressure to the f7 square. Now black will play the move knight to f6, attacking the e4 pawn. Like we said before, knight will go to g5, attack. Now there are 2 attackers on the f7 square and only 1 defender. So many black players will realize this. People that are playing black will realize that d5 is the way to go when you're playing against a fried liver. And so white's bishop is probably the most important piece right now in the fried liver, aside from the knight, which is also a key piece. So more often than not, white will capture with the pawn, and because he wants to conserve that bishop. And right now, black's probably thinking to himself, why did I play that move? I just lost a pawn, and now my knight's under attack. And he'll probably go with the move knight takes on d5, which many people play. This is definitely not the way to go, and we'll be discussing how to play it correctly after this move order. But we'll go over what happens if black does take on d5. Black takes on d5, thinking that if the bishop on c4 takes back on d5, like this, black will take back on d5 with his queen. However, that's not the case. After the knight takes on d5, white has a very dangerous threat here. and that threat is knight takes on f7. What this move does is, other than sacrificing the knight, it's forcing black to take the knight on e7. If he doesn't, the rook or the queen will be captured. So after black takes on f7, white has a very nice move here. And that move is queen to f3. And black must be careful now, because he can fall into a lot of traps. One, for example, is that if, after in check, if black plays king g8, white can take on d5, taking the knight and putting the king in check. Right now, the only move that'll prevent checkmate is, aside from bishop e6, but after bishop takes on e6, it's game over, is queen takes on d5. The next move is, for white, the queen will take back on d5, and black's only move will be bishop e6, which the queen will take. So this is completely terrible, and so if your opponent makes this kind of move, make sure that he pays for it. So going back a few moves right here, that now that the king is in check, say that the king retreats back to the square, to e8, right? Now, white can take the knight on d5, winning back his material, even though he's only a pawn down. He's a very nice strong attack. In addition, he is threatening checkmate. He is threatening checkmate on f7. Say that white plays the move. Say that black plays the move bishop c5. Now, white can play the move queen f7, checkmate. As you can see, the black king has nowhere to go, and yeah, it's checkmate. So going back a couple moves right here, as you can see, this variation is completely terrible. White will be winning back its material, and the black king will no longer be able to castle and is completely vulnerable and in the middle of the board. So now let's go over the proper way how to defend against the fried liver. We are right here. So after black pushes his pawn to d5 in hopes of blocking the diagonal of the bishop on c4, and white will take on d5. Instead of taking d5 with the knight, the right move should be knight to a5. Now what this does is it threatens white's bishop. So if white does not protect his bishop, the bishop will be taken. Either way, black really wants to get rid of that bishop because it is exerting so much pressure on the f7 square. In addition, black can gain a tempo by playing h6 after he gets rid of the bishop on c4. So right now, white has a couple of different moves that he can try. And one of them being, well, white's bishop is under attack. So he's probably going to want to support that or either move to a different square. And considering it, if white wants to stay on that long diagonal, attacking the f7 square, even though it's blocked by the pawn, white either has to go to b3. And either way, the knight will take, and say that, I don't know, maybe white will take like that, opening up a file for a draw. But now, the regular moves are just pushing your pawn to h6, driving back the knight, and then the knight will go to f3, and then pushing the knight again by playing e4. Now as you can see, we're just pushing the knight everywhere. It's going everywhere, and it's kind of gaining us a tempo because now we're controlling more of the board. And in addition, this pawn is going to drop. The pawn on d5, it's hanging. Alright, so now let's go over right here. So we've seen what happens if white plays bishop to b3. Now, say that white tries to play a retreating move or a supporting move, like let's start with supporting move. Say like a move like b3, or it could even be like knight. It could even be knight to a3. It doesn't really matter though. Black is going to be taking, and well, not necessarily actually. Black can take on c4 or can play h6. I prefer the move knight takes on c4, and then after knight recaptures, black can play h6, drop, making the knight has to drop back, and the knight has two moves. It could either move to h3, or the knight can move to f3. H3 is not a very good square. It's not controlling a lot of the key squares, so more often than not, white will play knight to f3. In response to this move, you should always play the move e4. I did not play this move in a tournament one time, and I paid greatly for it. I should have done that. So yeah, you make sure you play e4 directly. But going back to this move, we discussed if white tries moving to b3, if white tries moving his bishop to b3, or tries protecting the bishop. So now let's discuss if white moves his bishop any other spot except for b3. Say for example, it could be bishop to d3, bishop to d2, or bishop to f1. Let's consider the move bishop to e2. Not that it really matters much, whichever square that white goes to. Right now, what black will do, we'll follow the same set of move orders, and we'll play h6. Now the knight is under attack, so like we discussed before, the knight will most likely move to knight f3, and then black will play the move e4, and the knight will probably go to d4, and now black can recapture the pawn on d5. And as you can see, completely equal. Both sides are in an okay position. Nothing too crazy. And yeah, I mean, there's still a lot more of the game that can be played. So that was it, you guys. That was how to defend against the fried liver and how to play it. This opening is probably one of the most aggressive openings, and it works in tournament play, it works in blitz, it works everywhere. It's a fun opening to play. Although it might have some setbacks, it's really fun to play. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out.